Hello and welcome to the May 2014 energy forecast. We are, as usual, outside on the hill, and one of the reasons I wanted to record these forecasts in nature is so that not only do we have the peace energy that gets exuded here to support the forecast, but also so that those of you who perhaps don't have opportunities to get into open nature very often get to experience some of that energy while you're watching the video. I don't need to say that things are intense because you kind of hear me say that every month, and it is true at the moment. There are incredibly intense energies at work on Earth, but there is a split in that, and it is that the human way of processing those energies is showing up as very intense, chaotic, and sometimes problematic because people are being pushed to purge and release and feel and go into the depths of themselves like never before. So whether it's irritation that you're feeling because somebody over here is doing something that's annoying you, or whether it's just you in your own energy experience feeling irritable feelings or difficult feelings or anger or grief or sorrow in intense ways, this is the human experience of how these times universally are catalyzing us. On the other hand, and I've talked about this over the months, there is an incredible height of being available to us. So for example, when out in nature like this, the beauty of it for our human systems is there is no human energy around here. You are out in an open space, or perhaps you're in a park where there are some people, but people are beginning to expand in response to the expansive energy of nature. So if I had 6 people standing here feeling certain things, thinking certain things, it would feel very different to if they were removed. And as a sensitive person, you tend to notice density. You tend to notice the lower areas as well as the higher areas. So if these people were processing things and feeling heavy, my attention would go there. But if you remove those people and you're out here in the middle of nowhere, you just feel space. Now, if you're stressed, if you're running a lot of energy right now, what you'll find when you first go to that park or when you first go out into nature is you might be a little crazy when you get out there. You know, your feelings are going to come up, your thoughts are going to come up, because suddenly all of the space around you allows you to see the tightness and the holding inside you that you're releasing. But as you start to develop a practice with this, as you start to regularly go into nature, you will start to notice that your body will understand that it gets these regular moments of spaciousness, so it can release whatever it is that it needs to. And when you return to your office or your busy house or your busy life, you will have less stress running through you because your body will understand this regular pattern comes for you where you get to release. So that's nature, and some of you watching might be in a tricky situation where you live in a very busy city, but you can experience the same thing by just going to your room and meditating or creating a sacred space for yourself. And a sacred space can be anything. It can be you meditating on peace and sitting there quietly. It can be you dancing around your room to some heavy metal if that's what moves your energy and makes you feel good. But these moments of solitude and these moments of coming back to who am I inside this body and how am I feeling and where am I in here? Because with everything going on in the world right now, you will be infused constantly with everyone else's ideas, feelings, energies, and reactions to what is going on. And as I've explained many times in the videos, these things affect us. You can't have somebody near you feeling something and not at least to a very small percentage feel or interact with that energy and then walk away taking some of it in. But if we have these regular moments of space and solitude, like a practice, we're able to release these energies, and then you get to experience the height of what we're experiencing right now. There is an extraordinary energy of higher mind. Higher mind for me is a mind that has as much heart going on in it as it does brain and thoughts and thinking. Now, of course, we also have the third eye located here, which is our sensory thinking. This is the part of you that knows that somebody's about to phone you. You'll have a thought about your mum and suddenly she's there on your phone. This is the part of you that might see visionary opportunities for yourself or get images about what you could create. And then you, the human being, might have to go through some areas of doubt or disbelief around whether that vision is possible so that you can move toward it. But the higher mind is a unification of all of these chakras. So the heart is very involved because the higher mind brings you into universal intelligence, and universal intelligence is very, very heart-based. So this month in May, higher mind is an opportunity, but it also means that mind will show up a lot. Many people are going to be arguing opinions, differences. This has been going on for a while, but you'll see it quite potently. And your choice is to decide, what do I engage with? How do I want to play in life? How do I want my life to go in terms of my human relationships? Because you're allowed to choose, but you see, the way we're trained as human beings and the way we've been programmed, we don't think we are allowed. We tend to believe we can't say this to that person in case it upsets them. We can't say this to that person in case it offends them. I couldn't go and do this by myself because I might feel lonely. So look at all your mights. Look at all the questions that you can examine rather than use them as stops. If that person is going to get upset because you need to say something to them, is their upset your responsibility, or is it something they already arrived at you with? Now, I'm not saying go and whack everybody in the face with your opinion, because that's aggressive. But what I am trying to highlight here is that at this point there are huge crossroads going on in personal relationships, and they don't have to be dramatic changes that mean that you break friends with someone or you leave a relationship. But this tends to be how we've been trained to act. We tend to have an idea that external action will make us feel good inside. And actually, this is the age of heart-led communication. So we're all beginning to be invited to speak more from our higher mind with our hearts. So yes, maybe you are going to upset your friend slightly because you're going to say this. Now, the only reason you probably know you're going to upset them is your third eye or your senses about this person, and you know how their patterns run, tell you that they don't like being told that they did something that upset you. But that's their issue. That's something they're carrying. They need to learn to let go of that, because all of us can learn to be okay with feedback from each other about how we're doing. So ask yourself where you're making yourself a slave to the emotions you fear you will catalyze in others. And I know for many of you listening, you will have learned over the years to shut your mouth very tight so that you no longer offend anybody or make anybody blow up. And I understand too that would have been something you did for self-preservation, both for you and them. Because in the past, maybe there was a volatility that you experienced when you were delivering it, or more importantly, people were less emotionally available than they are now. So they would push back hard against you if you said something that they didn't like. But this really is the age of communication, and higher mind and heart-based communication. And so many of you are feeling a little bored and a little frustrated with what's going on around you. And a great way to change that is to change the dialogue that comes out of your mouth and play with it, experiment. If you don't normally say things a certain way, try it and see. You could be dead tomorrow, which is something I'm always reminding us. So why not on your last day on Earth, change the map a little bit? Because I think there is a victim mentality that can play out in the psyche right now around all of this stuff is being done to me and there are all these things outside. You can change direction and you can change what you experience in your life. So May is a great opportunity to regularly take that space, clear your energy field, and from that space, your higher mind and your heart intelligence is going to make you do things a little differently. And that is good for everybody, because we as human beings get stuck in patterns. So those of you that are afraid to be the leader or the catalyst because of past experience, recognize you're older, wiser, and more heart-centered and compassionate now than you were then. The other people on the receiving end are more capable of hearing it, and this is a different time. So for those of you that are bored and frustrated, look at where you're not speaking your truth. Look at where you're not using your words to redirect things. So that's all for this month. I hope you have a great month, everybody. I have just in the last few weeks released a couple of recordings that we've been having some great feedback for, and I'm very proud of them, and they're designed to give you an opportunity to have space or rebirth yourself. So the first one is 7 Days of Peace, and it's 7 10-minute meditations that you can use each day to help you invoke peace in your life. And the second one is Adventures in Sound, which is the sound healing work that I've begun doing. So that's rebirth and rise to life. Sound designed to give you a rebirth and help you rise to life. So both of those recordings are available in my store at leeharrisenergy.com, or they're currently, the Adventures in Sound is free to members of the portal. So if you'd like to listen to trailers, you can listen to 7 Days of Peace here and Adventures in Sound here. And I will see you in June. Big love, everybody. Take care.